61 Vocabulary. 61.1 Art and Culture. Reviews can have a big influence on a film's success. Influence. Opening square bracket. The effect someone or something has. Climb. The documentary inspired me to start painting. Inspire. Opening square bracket. Give somebody the enthusiasm to do something they may not have done otherwise. Mary was strongly influenced by his speech. Strongly influenced by something. Greatly affected by something or somebody. I can highly recommend the new restaurant. Highly recommend. Opening square bracket. Say that something is very good and tell others about it. The reviewers always heap praise on him. Heap praise, criticism on something. Say that something is extremely good, bad. Incredible. Astonishing. Genius. Sishing. I was so engrossed in the book that I didn't hear the phone. Be engrossed in something. Opening square bracket. Be extremely absorbed in something. 234. Make up your mind. Do you prefer the red or black one? Make up your mind. Finally make a decision. I chose the red one, but then I changed my mind. Change your mind. Alter or change a decision or feeling about something. I know you're a vegetarian and will bear it in mind when I cook. Bear something in mind. Opening square bracket. Hold something in consideration when doing or thinking about something else. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Speak your mind. Say what you feel, even if it is controversial. We have candles to help create a romantic atmosphere. Create an atmosphere. Opening square bracket. To set a particular mood or tone. This opera is a bit too highbrow for me. I prefer movies. Highbrow, lowbrow. Complicated, simple artistic or cultural ideas. The movie's plot was too complicated to understand. Plot. Opening square bracket. The series of events that makes up the story in a book, film, or play. I really enjoyed the opening scene of the play. Opening, closing scenes. The first, last moments of a book, film, or play. My favorite character was the funny best friend. Characters. Opening square bracket. The fictional people in a book, film, or play. The dramatic chain of events was almost unbelievable. Chain of events. Opening square bracket. A sequence of causes and effects. Have you seen the latest TV drama about firefighters? Drama. Opening square bracket. A play, movie, television show, or radio show about a serious subject. I like to relax by reading romance novels. Novels. Opening square bracket. Long, written stories that are fictional. The book left a lasting impression on me. It was incredible. Lasting impression. Opening square bracket. A feeling or effect that lasts a long time. The new film has had glowing reviews from all the critics. Glowing reviews. Opening square bracket. Very positive reviews. 235. 62 Leaving words out. When you want to communicate clearly, it can be helpful to avoid repetition. One way to do this is to drop any unnecessary words. 62.1 Key language ellipsis. If the meaning of a sentence is clear from the surrounding text, you can use ellipsis. Leaving out certain words. To avoid repetition. This is most common after and, but, and, or. Sometimes you can drop a repeated verb in a different form. New language ellipsis. Vocabulary entertainment. He bought tickets, but he didn't go. Often a repeated subject is dropped after and, but, and, or. Single quote. New skill leaving out unnecessary words. She loved the original and she loved the sequel. If the meaning remains clear, a repeated subject and verb can be dropped. I'm happy to go out or I'm happy to stay home. Generally, you can omit words that have already been mentioned and do not require repetition. 62.2 Fill in the gaps with the repeated words that have been dropped. I told him I would book the tickets, but I haven't. Dot. Booked the tickets. Closing square bracket. Yet. They wanted to see the band perform live, but now they can't. 2. He was fantastic in the television series and if you want to see a movie, we could go to the multiplex or. The reviews said that the acting was bad and. Dot. 6. The 2 lead actors did all the stunts and. I am quitting my job this week. I will call you later to explain why. Dot. Closing square bracket. The movie adaptation. The art house. Closing square bracket. The soundtrack was terrible. Dot. Closing square bracket. Sang all the songs themselves. Closing square bracket. Dot. 236. 62.3 Read the article and answer the questions. Marine Blue was directed by Faye Little. True. False. The reviewer thinks the film will be a success. True. False. The plot in the film was unusual and exciting to follow. True. False. The special effects in Marine Blue were not very good. True. False. The plot of Death Reviewed was not very exciting. True. False. Death Reviewed was emotional and extremely moving. False. True. Culture Vulture. This week's new openings. Find out what to see. And what to avoid. This week. He new film starring Faye. Th. Little will surely be another box office hit for director Lee Jones. Thriller Marine Blue is released on Thursday and brings back characters Max and Alice. The plot was original and surprising, although some elements may prove highly controversial. Marine Blue was heavily subsidized, but the money was incredibly well spent as the visual effects and soundtrack are stunning. A must-see. The new play Death Reviewed is supposed to be a tragedy. It is just tragic. Terrible acting, painfully slow dialogue, and a completely predictable plot make it a disaster. The play did leave me deeply moved, but only because the ticket prices were so astronomically high. Bitterly disappointed. 62.4 Fill in the gaps using the words in the panel to complete. The collocations from 62.3. The film was very dull and the plot was painfully slow. I knew that the family would turn out to be aliens. It was completely. I was so deeply by the sad scenes that I cried for hours. 3. We loved the last film, but were bitterly by this one. We waited too long. The ticket prices are now astronomically. The plot is shocking and the theme is controversial. Subsidized. $. The government helped pay for the film. It was predictable. Moved. Slow. Heavily. Highly. High. Disappointed. 237. 62.5 Cross out the words that can be left out of each sentence. He might have been in the original film or he might have been in the remake. Filled circle I was planning to buy tickets for the show, but now I can't buy tickets for the show. The film had great special effects and the film had a wonderful soundtrack. Right pointing arrow he was chosen for the orchestra and he played brilliantly. Diamond suit this evening I'm going to have dinner and then I'm going to watch a play. Right pointing arrow they said that they would come to the launch party, but they haven't come to the launch party. They should join in or they should not bother coming. 62.6 Match the beginnings of the sentences to the correct endings. He has always made thrillers and the actors were good, but doesn't have very good acoustics. Ends just after midnight. The performance starts at 8 and 3. You could buy a season ticket or the building is beautiful, but the cast are all exhausted, but the audience was very loud and full of young children. He always will. Very satisfied with the performance. Sign up for membership. Seemed uncomfortable on screen. 238. 62.7 Key language conversational ellipsis. You can also leave words out of sentences that don't include and, but, and, or, if the meaning can be understood from the context. This kind of ellipsis does not have strict rules, and is very common in informal everyday speech, particularly when giving replies. What time does the movie start? 8. Opening square bracket. It starts at 8 o'clock. Closing square bracket. What kind of popcorn would you like? Salted, please. Opening square bracket. I would like salted popcorn, please. Closing square bracket. What did you think of the film? Complete nonsense. Opening square bracket. I thought the film was complete nonsense. Closing square bracket. 62.8 Listen to the audio, then number the full statements in the order that you hear their short forms. A. Good evening. Single quote. B. No, it's a horror film. Single quote. I think that it's better than the book version. Single quote. Sound recording copyright. I'd like 2 seats, please. Single quote. Is this film a drama? Single quote. So, what did you think of the film? Single quote. Gee, are you sure about that? Single quote. 00800mm. 62 Checklist. Ellipsis. Entertainment. Leaving out unnecessary words. 239. 63 Substituting words. As well as ellipsis. Leaving words out. You can also avoid repeating yourself by replacing some phrases with shorter ones. This is called substitution. New language substitution. Vocabulary books and reading new skill replacing phrases. 63.1 Key language substituting with one, ones, and some, one, and ones, can be used to replace singular and plural countable nouns. To use ones, you must be referring to a specific group of things. Use some when the group is not defined. Dash. Single countable nouns. Does anyone have a copy of the book? Plural countable nouns. Are there any bookstores near here? Yes, I have one. One replaces a copy of the book. Single quote. Ones can only be used if you modify it to define the specific things that you mean. Yes, there are some on Main Street. There are a few great ones across town. 63.2 Cross out the incorrect words in each sentence. 240. He's such a great writer. I think his best novels are the later ones, some. The book with the long title is the ones, some I wanted. The buildings in New York were taller than the ones, some in Paris. If you still want a copy of that book, there are ones, some over here. If you need an umbrella, I can lend you ones, some. Have you seen her new sunglasses? The ones, some with the silver frames. 63.3 Match the beginnings of the sentences to the correct endings. I have a few recommendations. They bought me a signed copy. I think the most engrossing novels. 3. If you want to join a book club. I know you want to buy a new car. If you need a plastic bag. Are the ones about spies. There are some in the box over there. Make sure it's one with regular meetings. If you want some. But the one we have is only a year old. But I already had one. 63.4 Fill in the gaps using one, ones, or, some. Book Con Review Notes. Black Glasses is Martin Owen's 4th book in this series. Like the 3rd book, this one is all about the brilliant detective Amanda Brooke. Unlike the other in the series though, this time her personal life starts falling apart. Excellent plot as usual. I have read some boring books in my time, but Sarah Unborn's Pink Tree is the dullest ever. Sadly, I can't tell you much about the book as I gave up after 20 pages. Little Water Princess is a fabulous book for little children, or even older. There are few words, but the illustrations are beautiful. Lots of the pictures pop up, but are 2D. A lovely gift idea. There are endless books about cooking pasta, but How to Cook Pasta by Daniela Capral is the best. On the market today. 241. 63.5 key language substituting with do. You can also replace verbs and their complements with substitute words to avoid repetition. Do and did are often used to replace present and past simple tense verbs, for example. I think this homework is really difficult. Different forms of do replace think. Single quote. I did too, so I asked for help. I don't. It's easy. 63.6 mark the sentences that are correct. I don't read much, but my dad does read. I don't read much, but my dad does. I didn't like it, but my friend did. I didn't like it, but my friend liked. Did you go to the show? We did go. Did you go to the show? We did, too. You read a lot last month. I did, too. You read a lot last month. I do, too. Do I recycle? Yes, I do. Do I recycle? Yes, I did. He works hard, but she doesn't. He works hard, but she isn't. 63.7 Listen to the audio and answer the questions. Two friends, Deborah and Clive, are in a bookstore. Listen to them discussing the different titles available. Deborah has Nadine Hussain's new cookbook. True. False. Clive thinks more cookbooks should be written. True. False. Clive thinks Deborah does not bake at home. True. False. Clive is going to Rome the following weekend. Clive prefers guidebooks with lots of pictures. Deborah is going to help Clive choose some novels. Clive believes that Deborah is going to bake later. True. False. True. False. True. False. True. False. 242. 63.8 Key language substituting with so and not. In positive clauses after verbs of thinking, you can use so, to. Will she be signing? Avoid repetition. Use not or not. Dot. So, in negative sentences. Copies of her book? I hope so. No, I don't think so. I'm afraid not. 63.9 Further examples substituting negatives with not. Dot. So, and, not. It appears not. It doesn't seem so. Use not. Dot. So, with, think. Believe, expect, and imagine. Single quote. Dot. Use either not or not. Dot. So, with, appear. Seem, and, suppose. Single quote. I don't imagine so. I hope not. Use not with hope, assume, and be afraid. When afraid means sorry. Dot. 63.10 Responds to the audio, speaking out loud using substitution. Do you go to bookstores often? Opening square bracket. Suppose. Yes, I suppose so. Who wrote your favorite novel? Opening square bracket. Did. Do you think all books will be digital soon? Opening square bracket. Hope. 63 Checklist. Substitution. Would you like to write a book? Opening square bracket. Think. Are books and reading. Replacing phrases. 243. 64 Shortening infinitives. As well as ellipsis and substitution, you can also shorten or reduce infinitives to prevent repetition. This will help you to sound more natural when speaking. 64.1 Key language reduced infinitives. You can use to on its own rather than repeat the entire infinitive verb. You can only do this if the meaning remains clear. New language reduced infinitives are our vocabulary, music, and performance new skill avoiding repetition. Let's go to see that new DJ tonight. I don't really want to. Go to see the new DJ. Dot. If the previous Sentence or clause contains the verb be, then you must use to be in the next clause or sentence. She was really critical of the new album. It's difficult not to be critical of it. The singing is awful. 64.2 Cross out all of the words that you can leave out. I want to get the best tickets for the show, but can't afford to get them. I tried to contact Max about the concert tickets, but wasn't able to contact him. My brother often forgets our dad's birthday, but this year he's promised not to forget. 3 Georgia was enjoying the performance. At least, she seemed to be enjoying it. 4 Lan is going to the new nightclub, but I don't really want to go to there. 6 The festival tickets cost a lot more than they used to cost. I want to come with you, but I won't be able to come with you. 244. 64.3 Key language dropping the entire infinitive clause. You can leave out the entire infinitive clause, or just keep to after some verbs, such as agree, ask, forget, promise, start, and try. Single quote. Chris is going to come to the show. He's promised to come, \opening square bracket, promised to come, closing square bracket. You can also leave out the entire infinitive, or use to after some nouns, such as chance, plans, promise, idea, and opportunity. Single quote. Sconce. To see them. I haven't seen this band before. I'd love the chance to see them. It is also possible to do this after certain adjectives, such as delighted, afraid, willing, and determined. Single quote. I want to perform on stage, but I'm afraid to perform on stage. Afraid to perform on stage. 64.4 Listen to the audio and answer the questions. 2 students are talking about learning to play musical instruments. False. Luca has a double bass in his case. True. Luca says the cello is harder to play than the guitar. True, false. 2 Tanya plays the trumpet now. True. False. Luca will be joining a new orchestra next week. True, false. Luca was confident about his orchestra audition. True. False. Tanya is a member of the college orchestra. True, false. Tanya cannot audition again. True. False. Tanya and Luca have played together before. True. False. 245. 64.5 Key language verbs with complements. You cannot leave out the entire infinitive after verbs that need complements. Phrases that complete their meaning, such as advise, afford, be able, choose, decide, expect, hate, hope, love, need, and prefer. After these, you must keep the to. Single quote. We want to see a band tonight, but we really can't afford to. 64.6 Further examples verbs with complements. I tried to get to the front of the crowd, but I wasn't able to. You could bring some snacks along, but you don't need to. I had piano lessons as a child, but I didn't choose to. I have never been to the opera, but I would love to. 64.7 Fill in the gaps using the words in the panel. I asked my sister to sing with me and she said she'd be. I would like to read music, but it will be a long time until I'm delighted. 2 Don't forget that it's supposed to rain tonight. Try to leave before it. Some people aren't nervous about performing, but I'm too. 246. 2. 2. Some artists don't like to have family in the audience on the first night, but It's such a shame. I would absolutely love to see him sing, but cannot. I've seen other artists who love talking to the audience, but You don't need to worry. I will come along to all of your recitals. 2. 2. 2. Afford. Starts. Delighted. Promise. Afraid. Prefer. Hate. Able. 64.8 Key language, want, and, would like. You normally keep the to rather than drop the entire infinitive after want or would like. Single quote. In if clauses, however, you can often use to on its own or drop the whole infinitive after want or would like. Single quote. You must keep the to if the clause is negative. He asked if I wanted to go, and I said I would like to. You can come with us if you want to. 2. Don't go to the concert if you don't want to. 64.9 Mark the sentences that are correct. Thanks for the offer. I would really like to. Thanks for the offer. I would really like. I asked him to come, but he didn't want. I asked him to come, but he didn't want to. 2. You can have one if you want. You can have one if you do. You can stay, but I don't really want to. You can stay, but I don't really want. If you're free to meet, I would still like to. If you're free to meet, I would still like. 5. You can call me Sam if you want to call. You can call me Sam if you want. 000000001. 64.10 responds to the audio, speaking out loud. Will you record my performance tonight? I promise. Opening parenthesis. Promise. Yes. Are you going to sell your CD collection? No. Will you practice every day? Yes. Opening parenthesis. Decide. Opening parenthesis. Try. Would you like to come to the concert? Yes, but. Opening parenthesis. Afford. 64 checklist. Reduced infinitives. Music and performing. Avoiding repetition. 247. 65 expressing reactions. Although discourse markers often don't add content in themselves, they can ease the flow of a conversation and add information about the speaker's opinion. New language informal discourse markers are vocabulary advanced prefixes new skill structuring conversation. 65.1 Key language common informal discourse markers. Use, actually, to correct a listener's misunderstanding or incorrect expectation. I don't think this painting is worth that much. Actually, it sold at auction for $2 million. Wow. Do you like it? I don't, actually. It's not very impressive. Tip. Be aware of how body language conveys extra meaning when talking face to face. Use, by the way, to show a change of subject. Use, as I was saying, to return to a previous subject after a change of subject or interruption. Use, anyway, to return to a subject after interruption, change subject, or end a topic or conversation. I think this one is fantastic, too. Oh, by the way, did you read the article about the painter in the Times? As I was saying, this is a fantastic painting. I really like the way the sea is painted. Anyway, I should say goodbye. I want to visit the gallery shop before it closes. 248. 65.2 Cross out the least appropriate words in each sentence. I know you say he's talentless, but actually, by the way, this is a very impressive sculpture. These gardens are fabulous. Did you bring your camera, as I was saying, by the way? Yes, but by the way, as I was saying before, I really think I could paint that myself. No, I don't hate all modern art. I actually, as I was saying, really like some street art. Anyway, actually, to get back to my question, would you pay $2 million for that? These paintings aren't the reason I come here. I actually prefer the architecture. 65.3 responds to the audio, speaking out loud and using the most appropriate discourse markers. You like Manet's paintings, don't you? Yes, but actually this painting is by Monet. I think we've seen everything. We haven't. There's another flaw. The brush strokes in the sky are amazing. Are you tired of paintings yet? I'm really. Aren't they? Where are we going for dinner? It's too early to eat. Do you like this painting? Yes, but I'm getting really hungry. Inspired. I love this landscape. I agree. This is the best painting here. We should head back to the car soon. 249. 65.4 Read the article and answer the questions. The show is by well-known established artists. True, false. The first room in the show contained paintings. True. False. Question mark. There is a small room before the second room. True. False. Right pointing arrow. There were many artists in the second room. True. False. The young performer will make you happy. True. False. The final room makes you feel very relaxed. True. False. The reviewer recommends the exhibition. True, false. Art scene. Dean Hill Art School exhibition. The opening of the Dean Hill Art exhibition highlighted the mix of influences on these creative final year students. The paintings in the first room were clearly inspired by classical artists and the more modern neoclassical movement. From this more traditional first room, you are led to a small anteroom to wait for the next performance. You are then taken to a dark room with lots of ropes hanging from the ceiling. Without giving too much away for future visitors to the show, you will see a young boy dressed in blue and red and you will laugh and probably be reminded of a certain superhero. The next room was another complete change. This time an angry antisocial woman made us all feel very uncomfortable with the idea of progress in a modern world. It was a typical postmodern performance. A hugely varied exhibition by talented, proactive artists. Well worth a visit. 65.5 Match the beginnings of the sentences to the correct endings. Ante and pre, as in anteroom and preschool. Means beyond. Single quote. Super, as in superhero and supernatural. Means for. Single quote. 2. Anti, as in antisocial and antibiotics. Means after. Single quote. Pro, as in proactive and proceed. Mean before. Single quote. Neo, as in neoclassical and neoliberal. Means against. Single quote. Post, as in postmodern and post-war. Means new. Single quote. 250. 65.6 Fill in the gaps using the prefixes in the panel. To find a career in your field, you need to be very _pro_active. Many children go to _school before they are 5 years old. My husband is 40 years old, but he still loves _hero comics and films. Greater than a lot of the architecture here is _classical and looks Roman. I think that dropping litter in public is extremely _social. Before the ceremony began, we were told to wait in a small. Many 20th century art movements have been called _room. Modern. Post. Pre. Anti. Neo. Super. Anti. Pro. 65. Checklist. Informal discourse markers. Are advanced prefixes. Structuring conversation. Review the English you have learned in Units 62 to 65. New language. Ellipsis. Substitution with one, ones, and some. Sample sentence. Unit. She went to see the play and loved it. 62.1, 62.7. Seen the film? Do you need a pencil? I have one. 63.1, 63.3. Would you like a cookie? There are some left. You read a lot last month. I did, too. 63.5, 63.8. 64.1, 64.3. Substitution with do and so. Reduced infinitives and dropped infinitive clauses. Reduced verbs with complements. Informal discourse markers. Is Mary going to come? I hope so. I don't really want to. I asked her to buy me tickets and she agreed. We want to see our friend's band play, but can't afford to. Actually, it sold at auction for $2 million. 0, 0, 64.5, 65.1, 251, 66 Getting things done. Sometimes you might want to talk about other people doing things for you, rather than doing things yourself. To do this, you need to use different grammar. New language, have, get something done, are vocabulary services and repairs. New skill describing things people do for you. 66.1 Key language, have, get something done. Use, have, or, get, with a noun and the past participle to talk about something someone else does for you or to you. Get is less formal than have. Single quote. Did you get your computer updated? Opening square bracket. Did somebody update your computer for you? Closing square bracket. Yes, the company has the computers updated regularly. Opening square bracket. Yes, somebody regularly updates them for the company. Closing square bracket. 66.2 Further examples, have, get something done. Use the structure with should to give advice. You should get your connection checked. Opening square bracket. I think you should arrange for someone to check your connection. Closing square bracket. Will you get the oven fixed soon? Opening square bracket. Will somebody fix the oven for you soon? Closing square bracket. They haven't had the locks changed yet. Opening square bracket. They haven't arranged for somebody to change the locks for them. Closing square bracket. The store has its produce checked daily. Opening square bracket. Somebody checks the store's produce each day. Closing square bracket. 66.3 How to form have, get something done. You change the form of have or get to use different tenses in the simple and continuous forms. Subject. The company. HAVEGET. Has is having had. The action happens. Object. The computers. 252. Alter these verbs to change tense. To the object. Past participle. Updated. 66.4 Mark the sentences that describe the pictures. Plus. Jane is repairing her car. Jane is getting her car repaired. Ahmed has been fixing his oven. Ahmed is getting his oven fixed. Sally's having her nails painted. Sally's painting her own nails. Gavin is getting his hair cut. Gavin is cutting his hair. 00. Natasha got her photograph taken. Natasha took a photograph. 00. Joe did the ironing at home. Joe had the ironing done at the mall. 00. Annie is delivering some flowers. Annie had some flowers delivered. 00. They're having their house painted. They're painting their own house. 253. 254. 66.5 Match the beginnings of the sentences to the correct endings. We're getting our furniture. I'm taking the car to. You should go to a salon. I don't want to cook. Should we? They've just had their staff. I'm going to have my computer. I took my daughter to the dentist. They bought a dog and had. And have your hair cut. To get her teeth checked. Trained to deal with malware. Replaced at the moment. Checked for malware. It's so slow. The garage to get it fixed. A deluxe kennel built for him. Get a pizza delivered. 66.6 Rewrite the sentences, correcting the errors. When are we going to get repaired the TV? When are we going to get the TV repaired? Remember, today we have the bedroom carpets fitted. Your coat is really filthy. It should get you dry cleaned. My eyes hurt when I read. I should had 'em tested soon. My friend has his wallet stolen when he was in Barcelona. 5. I get to have my birth certificate translated into Spanish for my application. 66.7 responds to the audio, speaking out loud using HAVE, get. Is that Maria over there in the salon? Yes. She's getting her hair cut. Opening parenthesis. Her hair, cut. Dot. Does Jacob clean the house himself? No. Opening parenthesis. It, clean. By someone else. Why is Annika putting on makeup? The photographer's here. Opening parenthesis. Her picture, take. Dot. Is your oven still broken? Yes, but. Opening parenthesis. Fix. On Monday. Why is all your furniture covered? The painter's coming. Opening parenthesis. The house, paint. Dot. Are you going to make dinner tonight? No. Opening parenthesis. A pizza, deliver. Dot. Do you go to the dentist regularly? Yes. Opening parenthesis. My teeth, check. Twice a year. Do you go to the store for your newspaper? No. Opening parenthesis. Deliver. To the house. 66 checklist. Have, get something done. Service and repairs. Describing things people do for you. 255. 256. 67. Complex agreement. One of the basic principles of English is that subjects and verbs must agree. Some subjects, however, can behave as singular or plural nouns depending on their context. 67.1 Key language collective nouns. Collective nouns have a singular form, but refer to a number of people or objects as a group. In US English, they generally take a singular verb. In UK English, they can often be used with either singular or plural verbs. If the subject describes a singular body, then the verb form must be singular. New language complex agreement are vocabulary collective nouns. New skill using the correct agreement. The team is getting a new manager next year. Opening square bracket. The team as a whole is getting a new manager. Closing square bracket. The team are feeling excited about the news. If the subject describes a collection of individuals, then the verb form can be plural in UK English. Opening square bracket. Each individual member of the team is feeling excited. Closing square bracket. 67.2 Fill in the gaps using the collective nouns in the panel. Some of my wife's. The legal. 2 members of the. 3 the. 4 the soccer. The entire. Family. Are coming to visit. In my office is the largest in the company. Are rehearsing in different rooms in the building. Is having an emergency meeting in New York. Is arriving later this evening. Was delighted by the guest performer last night. Family. Team. Orchestra. Government. Department. Audience. Dash. 67.3 Key language uncountable nouns with singular agreement. Names or titles of books and other works of art that end in a plural noun are treated as singular in terms of agreement. Other uncountable nouns appear to be plural because they end in an s but have singular agreement. These include many place names and academic subjects. Though Tales is plural, the Canterbury Tales is a singular work of literature. The Canterbury Tales was first published in the 1400s. Mathematics is becoming a more popular subject. 67.4 Further examples uncountable nouns with singular agreement. Little Women is a novel by Louisa May Alcott. The Netherlands is known for its tulip industry. Athletics was an important part of the ancient Olympic Games. Politics has long been a topic for academic debate. 67.5 Mark the sentences that are correct. The news starts at 10 tonight. The news start at 10 tonight. I want to study economic. I want to study economics. 2 Is athletics popular in your country? Are athletics popular in your country? 3 Cats are a successful musical. Cats is a successful musical. The Philippines are an island country. The Philippines is an island country. 6. Physics are my favorite subjects. Physics is my favorite subject. 6. Hard Times was written by Dickens. Hard Times were written by Dickens. 7. The United States has 9 time zones. The United States have 9 time zones. 257. 67.6 Key language agreement after either or and neither nor when you use either or neither nor to join two nouns, the verb agrees with the second noun. However, if the last noun is singular and the first is plural, you can use either a singular verb or a plural verb. 258. The verb agrees with the second, singular noun. Either a tablet or a laptop is needed for the course. The verb agrees with the second, plural noun. Neither the teacher nor the children were happy. Neither the classrooms nor the office. Internet access. The verb can have singular or plural agreement. Has, have. 67.7 Match the beginnings of the sentences to the correct endings. I think either an email or a letter. Neither her mother nor her father. Either a cat or a dog. Either the diner or the coffee shop. Neither the boss nor the workers. We think that neither Tom nor Katya. Either the giraffes or the elephant. Neither my car nor my motorbike. Is a great pet for a family. Is safe to drive anymore. Are happy with the announcement. Is fine for sending this kind of news. Has worked hard enough at school. Was there to pick her up from school. Are the most popular animals in the park. Is fine for our meeting. 67.8 Listen to the audio and answer the questions. Two friends, Gavin and Nadia, are talking about new gadgets. Gavin's new watch is 6 months old. True. False. Not given. The new watch is available in different colors. True. False. Not given. Greater than Nadia is impressed by the watch's battery life. True. False. Nadia was initially impressed by smartphones. True. False. Not given. 6. R&D stands for research and development. True. False. Not given. Oh, Gavin sells his old gadgets on the internet. True. False. Not given. Not given. Right pointing arrow. Gavin thinks all his old gadgets look great. True. False. Not given. Oh, Gavin will give Nadia his old watch. True. False. Not given. 67.9 Say the sentences out loud, choosing the correct words. L. Neither writing nor speaking to people in English is difficult anymore. The school is getting new equipment for its technology department. Computer studies is my favorite subject at college at the moment. Neither the cable nor the batteries are included with the new digital radio. The Bahamas have many beaches, including some with pink sand. I don't know what's wrong with it. Either the engine or the fan is broken. 67. Checklist. Complex agreement. Are collective nouns. Using the correct agreement. 259. 68. So, and, such. You can use so, and, such, with certain words to add emphasis. They are similar in meaning, but they are used in different structures. New language, so, and, such, for emphasis are vocabulary medical science. New skill emphasizing descriptions. 68.1 Key language, so, and, such. Such can be added before a noun to add emphasis. It can also be added before an adjective and noun combination. The such goes before an. Single quote. SUCH plus AAN plus noun. The trial was such a success. Die. SUCH plus AAN plus adjective plus noun. It was such an important experiment. Tip. Such, plus, a, and plus noun is more common with fairly extreme nouns rather than neutral ones. So, can be added before an adjective or an adverb to add emphasis. So, plus adjective. The reaction is so dangerous. So, plus adverb. The surgery went so well. 68.2 Cross out the incorrect words in each sentence. The disease spread such slowly that he didn't notice it for many years. Even at the start of her career, she was such a well-respected scientist. 2 My brother fell off his bike this morning. The injury was such bad that we called a doctor. 3 Colds spread such fast between children, particularly in large groups. 4 I was hoping to get some positive news, but the test results were such a disappointment. Greater than I'm pleased that he's such an experienced surgeon. It's very reassuring. 260. 68.3 Key language, SO, and SUCH, with that. You can use that. SUCH, plus, AN, plus noun plus, that. With so and such, to introduce a particular result caused by the fact you are emphasizing. The disease is such a mystery that it doesn't even have a name yet. SUCH, plus, AN, plus adjective plus noun plus, that. This is such a strange injury that it is hard to diagnose. SO, plus adjective plus, that. Medical research is so expensive that drugs are often costly. SO, plus adverb plus, that. He recovered so quickly that he was able to go home the next day. 0004. $. 68.4 Match the beginnings of the sentences to the correct endings. The doctor was so tired that. You have to train for many years. 1. Dentistry is such a difficult job that. Only a few patients have had it. He recovered so rapidly that. 3. She had such steady hands that. 4. The medicine tasted so bad that. It is such a new treatment that. He was soon able to walk again. He nearly fell asleep. She could perform delicate operations. I nearly spat it all out. 261. 68.5 Key language, SO, with quantifiers. So, is also used before quantifiers like few, little, greater than, many, and much. Single quote. She had so little experience that I was really nervous. Use so much before comparatives. Tip: don't use so or such on their own before comparative adjectives. These treatments are so much better than the old ones. 68.6 Further examples, SO, with quantifiers. So many lives have been saved by advances in science. So few people have survived this illness. I'm very lucky. This hospital is so much cleaner than the other one. Diseases can spread so much faster as a result of air travel. 68.7 Rewrite the sentences, correcting the errors. So much young doctors have to work very long hours. So many young doctors have to work very long hours. Oh, surgeons train hard, which is why they make such few mistakes. I think these tablets work much better than the others. 3 doctors have to pass so much exams during their training. Thank you, doctor. I feel such better than I did last week. 262. 68.8 Read the text, then fill in the gaps using the words in the panel. 68 Medicine today. Rats trained to detect disease. An incredible breakthrough. People from all over the world fear and dislike rats, believing them to be dirty, diseased, and generally dangerous. But a little-known fact is that rats are so intelligent that they can be trained to do many things for humans that we cannot do ourselves. In Mozambique, rats are even being used to sniff out tuberculosis. TB. Rats have a sense of smell that is 50. Well developed that they can. Traces of TB in test. Given by humans. They signify when they smell TB by rubbing their legs together and are then given a treat through a syringe. There are a number of reasons why this is breakthrough. First, the rats are able to spot the unimportant in its early stages, which is so much better than testing later because then treatment can be started right away on any patients who have tested positive TB if it is detected in its early stages. If left undetected, it can be is only take 30 minutes to test nearly 100 samples. This is so laboratory. Second, rats more efficient than human, which can take up 4 days to do the same number. Finally, using rats is so much cheaper than buying expensive devices and paying a lot of money per test. This is important because TB is still a global concern. The situation in Mozambique was so bad. TB was declared a national emergency in 2006. By 2014, 60,000 people were said, by the Ministry of Health, to be testing so that detect treatable disease deadly much such samples infected 68 checklist so and such for emphasis medical science emphasizing descriptions 263 69 using articles to generalize. The is the most commonly used word in the English language. It can be used in many different situations, as can the indefinite article, a, and the zero article. New language generic, the vocabulary exploration and invention new skill using advanced articles. 69.1 key language generic, the you can use the with a single countable noun to talk about a class of things in general. Inventions, musical instruments, and species of animal are often referred to in this way. The telescope changed the way we see the night sky. Referring to an invention, not an individual telescope. The violin is often the key instrument in an orchestra. Referring to a type of musical instrument, not an individual instrument. The cheetah can run faster than any other land animal. Referring to a species of animal, not an individual animal. 264. 69.2 Cross out the incorrect words in each sentence. Look over there. There's the lion and her cub. Apparently, the French horn is the most difficult instrument to play. Alexander Graham Bell is often credited with inventing the telephone. My sister has the saxophone that she plays in her school orchestra. The blue whale is the largest animal that has ever lived on Earth. 69.3 Another way to talk about a class of things. You can also use a plural countable noun, without an article to talk about a class of things. Telescopes changed the way we see the night sky. Referring to the invention, not a particular group of telescopes. Violins are often the key instruments in an orchestra. Referring to the type of musical instrument, not a particular group of violins. Cheetahs can run faster than any other land animal. Referring to the species of animal, not a particular group of cheetahs. 69.4 Rewrite the sentences, correcting the errors. Thomas Edison is widely acknowledged as the inventor of a moving picture. Thomas Edison is widely acknowledged as the inventor of the moving picture. I enjoy playing a piano, but I hated having lessons as a child. Mountain gorilla are one of the most endangered species on Earth. In 2007, a Russian lawyer paid nearly $4 million for the violin. Sloth is a slow animal, but the Galapagos tortoise is even slower. Steve Wozniak designed and built a 1976 Apple I computer. This concert is incredible. I love the sound of trumpet. 265. 69.5 Key language definite and indefinite articles with names. You normally use the zero article with the name of a person. You can use the definite article before a person's name to differentiate them from another person with the same name. You can use the indefinite article when the focus is on a particular name rather than the person. This is my uncle, Neil Armstrong. In this case, the is pronounced the. Single quote. He's not the Neil Armstrong, is he? Opening square bracket. He isn't the famous person with that name, is he? Closing square bracket. I'm afraid there isn't a Joseph Bloggs on the list. Opening square bracket. The particular name given is not on the list. Closing square bracket. 69.6 Fill in the gaps using the correct articles, leaving a gap for the zero article. The space race produced two truly iconic moments in the history of humankind. The first happened on April 12, 1961, when Yuri Gagarin became first human in space. The entire Vostok 1 mission, including one orbit around Earth, lasted only 1 hour 29 minutes. Gagarin's voyage changed how people all over thought about space. Just over 8 years later, in July 1969, World. Neil Armstrong, Buzz. Apollo 11 space moons Dusty Aldrin and Michael Collins traveled to space in craft. On July 20, 1969, Armstrong stepped onto surface. What he actually said next is interesting story in itself. For many years he argued that he had said, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." After listening to repeated transmission recordings, however, he admitted that he may have dropped the indefinite article, step for mankind. Either way, it was huge. 266. 69.7 Listen to the audio and answer the questions. A radio show is reviewing a museum exhibition about women in space. The reviewer states that only women will like this exhibition. True. False. The exhibition is being held in the City Museum. True. False. All of the exhibits in There's Space for Women are replicas. True. False. Valentina Tereshkova was the first female cosmonaut in 1992. True. Jan Davis and Mark Lee flew in space when they were married. True. The first person in space from South Korea was a woman. True. An astronaut is definitely visiting the exhibition this month. You can book tickets for the exhibition online. True. False. 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 True. False. 69. Checklist. Generic, the exploration and invention. Using advanced articles. Review the English you have learned in Units 66 to 69. New language. HAVE, get something done. Complex subject-verb agreement. SO, and such. Sample sentence. Did you get your software updated? The team is getting a new manager next year. The team are feeling excited about the news. The trial was such a success. The reaction is so dangerous. Unit 66.1, 67.1, 67.3, 67.6, 68.1, 68.3, 68.5, 69.1. Generic, the telescope changed the way we see the night sky. He's not the Neil Armstrong, is he? Articles with names. 69.5. I'm afraid there isn't a Joseph Bloggs on the list. 267.